Welcome back to DASAR. My name is Darshan Doshi. I have a superb guest with me, someone who I am extremely proud to have as a guest on my podcast. She's the founder of the Pink Box. She works in the space of menstrual health, menstrual wellness, talking about periods, and she's got a marketplace, a platform that helps women overcome any challenges that they may be facing during. So, welcome to Dasar Sanjana. It's such a pleasure for me to have you over here.
Thank you, Darshan. It's really indeed a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me.
Right after Symbiosis, you've been working on Menstruation, the platform called the Pink Box, and it's been about 4 or 5 years now, and you've converted what used to be a subscription box into a platform. Before we get there, I'd love to understand what are the top 3 or the top 5 challenges that you've experienced in the last 4 or 5 years around menstruation, around periods, around talking about menstruation, the stigma around it. Maybe some thoughts on that?
Yes, Darshan, I think, like you said, talking about it is the number one problem that we've faced. Whenever we try to speak to people about what the Pink Box is, what we do, and the products that we have on our platform, the first feedback we get is, do I really want to be talking about this? So that kind of stigma that we've seen with regards to menstruation, it's a very age-old stigma. It is so prevalent in our society that stops people from actually talking about it. So that's problem number one that we've been facing, that we see in the market. And I think other problems just kind of descend from there. Problem number 2 is when people go out and they try to buy sanitary pads, right? If they go to a grocery store or a chemist, there's always a little bit of a hesitation that the store owners show, right? They'll wrap your pads in newspaper and then in a black bag. So they try to make it inconspicuous, but it becomes even more evident. And that causes a little bit of embarrassment to people about the products that they buy. So the kind of hesitation in the society is what we've seen. That's, I think, problem number 2. And thirdly, I think most menstruators don't usually put themselves at the top of their to-do list, right? It's always family, career, that's interchangeable, and then 10 other things, and then self-care. So that's where we come in, right? That's problem number 3. During periods like those 5 days when a menstruator is bleeding, we don't really tend to take care of our bodies because we feel like it's a very normal thing, but that's actually when your body needs you the most. That's when you need to really pamper yourself. So these are 3 problems that we've seen with regards to menstruation, and we do our part in breaking down those problems and dispelling the taboo.
So that's a good starting point, right? Let's get into the Pink Box. What does the Pink Box do? What have you done so far? And any pivots, any changes that have happened in the last few years?
Right. So in a nutshell, the Pink Box is your one-stop shop for all things menstrual. We have a variety of products that a menstruator might need on their period or even before and just after their period. And we also make sure that we raise a lot of awareness about different matters concerning feminine health, hygiene, reproductive and sexual wellness. So when I started back in 2018, I started the Pink Box as just a subscription service. It's a cute little care package. It's been curated by experts. It's got healthy snacks and sweets. It's got period pain relievers and stress busters. So it's a very holistic little box that reaches menstruators 5 days before their period. So that time when, PMS is on and you're having 10 different mood swings and you're kind of craving, you want to eat everything in sight. That's when the Pink Box reaches our consumers, our subscribers. And that's when they get to really pamper themselves and enjoy the box. And we were building our foundation in 2018 and 2019, and we were just beginning to have our first 50 consumers, our first 100 subscribers, and then their referrals and all of that. And then in early 2020, COVID hit, and that's when we had to have pivot number 1. And we realized it was not only menstruating people, but also non-menstruators like boyfriends and husbands and even brothers who were buying the Pink Box as a care package, as a gift for their sisters, wives, etc. What would happen during lockdown was you wouldn't have that physical connection with people because you wouldn't be able to meet them, go out on dinner dates, go out on movie dates. So this was just one little thing that helped people express the kind of care and affection they had for others, for their loved ones. So we realized that it's not only women, girls who are buying the box, but it's also their loved ones who are just gifting this to them. And what I really loved during the initial days of the lockdown, when we saw all these boys coming and buying the boxes, they would have these little notes which would say things like bleeding is blessing and bleed with pride. And we don't usually talk to male members of the family about periods because it's such a hush topic. You just speak to like your mom or your sister about it, and that's it. And then here is that one part of the population who we're supposed to hide periods from, who are actually coming out and saying, be proud about it because it is a natural. So pivot number one for us was when we realized that our target consumer whole huge lot. It was not just that one section that we were looking at. And during the initial, I think 3 to 4 weeks of the lockdown, our courier channels were all closed. My stock was not coming in, stuff was not moving out. So we took that time to actually go back to our consumers and see what is it that they're dealing with, how are they doing at this point. So we understood their concerns a little bit more, and we realized that when it comes to period products, there are so many new brands in the market nowadays that there's a lot of confusion about what should I be using, how should I be using it, how is it really going to help. So we realized we need to put more effort into raising awareness, right, about not only periods and like dispelling the taboo, but also period products. And that was actually the genesis of our marketplace. That's how we realized that we need to have one portal where people can come and try these different brands that are trusted brands, right? Every product that is on the pink box or on the marketplace, it's been tried and tested by members from my team. If it's not me, it's my social media people, it's my content person. It's been tried and tested. So there's that level of trust that our consumers have with us. So yeah, that was pivot number two for us, going from a subscription-based model to a marketplace as well.
I know you and I have had multiple conversations. A lot of people don't know is that Sanjana is also my student from back in Symbiosis of my lean startup class. And I remember her working on this at the time. And it's been a long journey, it's been a few years. But let's go back to the point where, you were a student. A lot of students today are thinking about launching their own venture. They started as a business idea, they have a lot of enthusiasm, and then suddenly they realize that, oh, I need to get a job, I need to join family business, but entrepreneurship is not taken seriously as a serious option. So just trying to understand your mindset, because I'm sure as an MBA student at Symbiosis, you would have had a lot of your friends getting placed with 7 lakh, 10 lakh, whereas you were with zero revenue. In fact, you had to invest money in it, right? So what was the thought process? What converted the commitment into conviction for you to say, this is it, this is what I want to do after my MBA?
I remember Darshan during our lean startup classes when you would give us all these assignments, and we were actually divided in different teams. I think our batch of 30 was divided into 5 or 6 different teams, and I was working with my team on the assignments, but side by side, I was applying those same things to what I wanted to do. At that point, the pink box was not a subscription box; it was just I want to do something in the menstrual hygiene field. So during those assignments, it actually helped me kind of get that clarity. And I remember discussing it with you, and you said, this is what I wanted. I didn't want people to just do assignments. I wanted you guys to start applying. So I think that was one kick that I got at that point, saying, if things are fitting, things are going well, and I seem to really, really want to do something in this field, then I need to know the field better. And right from my teenage years, like I've been such a stark gender equality and children's education. And I luckily never had to face those typical taboos like don't touch this when you're on your period and don't sleep there. But I met people during my bachelor's years and my master's years who were really facing so many issues. Some people would not be able to give exams properly because period pain would happen. Or the previous night they wouldn't have had slept well because they had to sleep on the floor instead of their bed because their families asked them to. And I thought to myself, this is not correct, that's not fair. It's a natural biological process, and that's not something that should be holding you back. And the more and more I discovered the menstrual hygiene field, I kept reading more about people who were having very diverse experiences. Most of them were negative experiences where they weren't comfortable at all. And I think that really helped me build my conviction in menstrual hygiene field. And during MBA again, I discovered the concept of ikigai, and I learned that more. I understood it deeper, and I realized that all those circles were actually coming for me in the menstrual hygiene field. I just wanted to do something in this field that would basically help menstruators just be comfortable, just have a happy period. And that's what kind of helped me translate an idea to this is actually what I want to do. So I think the conviction for me was built through ikigai. I discovered that this is it for me.
And since we are talking about finances, bootstrap founder, right? Bootstrap meaning you've not raised any funding, any external funding. Although in the last 12, 18 months, a lot of healthcare startups such as yourself could raise funding or have raised funding, right? So maybe some thoughts around how you managed your own personal finances as well as the finances or funding of uh, the Pink Box to the point where now you are kind of running sustainably.
So initially, all the vendors that would come to us, Darshan, we made sure that we weren't bleeding money anywhere. We made sure that we were very careful about where we were spending. If we had to spend an amount X, we would make sure that it wouldn't even become X plus 1 rupee. We would make sure that that was the amount and that was it. And when we started having early traction, again, we would make sure that on every subscription box that goes out, we have a particular margin. At no point have we had a box that actually took us into like a negative, like a loss or anything. So, of course, our operating expenses were always high, but like I said, we made sure that if X was the amount, that was pretty much it. And a couple of my mentors told me early on to not invest too much money into Facebook because it's just a black hole. And during the early days, I'm not somebody who's that great with digital marketing. Of course, I know the basics, but if you gave me a credit card and said, go spend this in your Facebook revenue ad budget, I'll be like, I don't know how to do this. That money is not very safe with me right now. So until I got experts on board, I made sure that I wasn't pouring too much money into like an ad budget. What I also did was we engaged performance marketers very early on. I think back in 2018-19 itself, where there was a certain revenue that they would kind of for sure bring us in. So these are just a few things we did to make sure that we weren't bleeding too much money. And again, I think I'm blessed because both my parents are CAs, and they kind of took care of most of it. I just had to focus on customer acquisition and getting the early traction on building our pool of medical professionals and healthcare advisors and experts.
Now let's talk about your own journey in terms of some surprises either from customers, from vendors, from partners who you worked with. So maybe some thoughts around, what were some of the key experiences that come to your mind and how did you overcome them?
I think early experiences, definitely, there were so many surprises that came our way, and a lot of them were very funny. So I think that was one thing that completely caught me off guard during the initial days, early days. We were looking for a social media marketing company. We were also looking for a web developer. And again, this person did not have complete belief in what we wanted to do with the pink box and where we were going. And this gentleman was much older and very experienced person. I think he was in the field for about 20-25 years or so. So unfortunately what happened is the for him the lines of like client to vendor became a little bit blurred, and it became a very mentor mentee kind of relationship. So I remember discussing this incident with you earlier also, Darshan. We got to a point where I said, we need things on this schedule, and you promised us that the website would be live by Tuesday so and so date. And then that person went into this whole thing about nobody taught you manners and you don't know how to speak and all of that. And again, Aishwarya was working with me at that point, and we thought, why is this happening? Would this have happened if we had kind of, did we not set our boundaries? Did we not draw the line? Did we err somewhere? And then we realized, no, the problem was not us. It was actually the other person because they had another experience like that with another client as well. And again, we had to kind of log them out of all of our accounts, make sure that they wouldn't, log us out of our own website and all of that. So that's again something that completely caught us by surprise. That was on the negative side. On the positive side, I think this is something a little bit emotional. This is very close to my heart. We also raise a lot of awareness about people who menstruate, who don't identify as women, right? A lot of trans people menstruate. And we had a campaign about that. And this one person who was in my school, he reached out to me after I think 13, 14 years or so. And he said, thank you for talking about this topic, not only on a personal level, but also at a company level, from through your organization, because I'm gay. And ever since I was 16 years, I had to change like 2, 3 apartments because people in the complex came to know and they would bully me and they would say things to my parents. So thank you for actually talking about it because I know that I'm not the only one going through this. And that really hit me, I felt like, wow, we did not expect that we would actually impact somebody to that level. And similarly, I think this was in 2020, October or September, where a girl, she gifted a 6 month subscription to one of her closest friends. And the friend had actually lost a parent to COVID. And basically, this girl really wanted to gift her friend something that would make her feel good, make her feel pampered, make her feel, a little bit of happiness, a little bit of joy during that very somber period that she was going through. So again, that was something else that really touched me because never, I think, had I ever thought that this box would actually go and help someone kind of deal with the loss of a parent. And again, the feedback was really great about, yeah, this really helped her. This made her feel happy. Just that box coming to her doorstep kind of perked her up a little bit. And that again, that really touched me. So yeah, I think these are a few little things that they keep me going as well.
Amazing. Now, I'm going to go a little contradictory over here, right? Or the contrary to what you've been saying, that, periods and menstruation is not popular. There's a stigma around it. There are products out there. But really, I mean, it's been in existence since time, right? Since humans have been alive. The products, if you go on Amazon, you'll find at least 20 different products for menstruation needs, right? So why should anyone do the pink box? Is it a luxury? Is it convenience? Or according to you, what is it that kind of really truly differentiates the pink box?
Firstly, Darshan, I think we maintain that balance between luxury and convenience. We make sure that it is something that helps people pamper themselves and makes them happy during the period, but at the same time, it's also very affordable. And what typically happens is, and this has happened with us, the people will want to buy the pink box and they'll say, why is this priced at 500 rupees when I can just get a pack of pads for 100 rupees? But that's exactly the point, right? It's not just a pack of pads that we're selling, it's the whole experience, right? We're making sure that you don't have to run to the grocery store at the last minute to buy yourself, your period essentials because they come right to you. We also customize the box as per your preferences so that you don't have to go looking for, is my brand available here, is my brand available there. And of course, we take away that complete worry of tracking when your period is going to come because we make sure that the box reaches you 5 days before your period. So we're actually providing, I think, a lot of convenience along with a lot of luxury. And I think what sets the pink box apart is that every product that goes in the box, even if it's like the smallest chocolate bar, we pass it through our panel of experts. We pass it through our nutritionists and our dietitians, and they'll certify that, yeah, this is fine. If you have it in XYZ quantity, it's fine. And we'll send it to you exactly in that quantity. We're not going to send you 10 chocolate bars. We'll send you like maybe 4 or 5, like one for each day of your period. And what we also make sure is when it comes to healthy snacks, right? All the snacks that go in the pink box, they will not be fried, they will not have masalas, they will be baked, they will not be oily. Because during your period you also tend to get a lot of pimples. So we help people cut down on that. We help people cut down on their calorie intake. So yeah, I think what sets apart the pink box is that we're really mindful of a menstruator's experience A to Z. We keep all these little things in mind. And also our platform, right? We make sure that people know what they're buying. We make sure that we've tried each and every product that's on the pink box. Let me talk about menstrual cups here, right? It's a growing market. It's been a growing market in India, I think, for the past 1.5, 2 years now. And there are so many brands that do menstrual cups at 2,000 rupees per cup. And there are brands that also do it at 250 rupees. And if you look at the pink box, the menstrual cups that we have, they go from about 400 rupees to about 999. Like that's the upper limit. And what happens is when it's too expensive, you don't want to buy it because there's always a comparison about, oh, I can just buy, a 70 rupee pack of pads and be done with it. And we don't want to have it too low price because then the materials that go in those menstrual cups are not that great. They're not really sturdy. I remember I worked with this one brand and she was talking to me about the experiences that her consumers have had with their menstrual cup and other menstrual cups that cost much lower. And what's happened is people use cups that cost about 250, 300, and then the silicone doesn't hold, it completely loses shape. So something that's supposed to last you about 8 to 10 years will last you only about 3 years. So the whole point of zero waste and sustainability and being cost effective, that's completely lost, right? So we make sure that each and every product on our marketplace is tried and tested. It fulfills what we're telling you that it will fulfill, right? It's guaranteed that you will have a good experience with that product. And yeah, we also keep it completely cost effective.
Now let's look forward. Okay, the next 12 to 24 months. Where does the pink box go? Where do you? How does the marketplace evolve? How does your team grow? Do you take investment? Do you continue to bootstrap? Maybe some thoughts around, how are you thinking about growing this business in the next few 12 to 24 months?
Right now, Darshan, we're just hoping to ride out the third wave peacefully. We're hoping it won't be as disruptive as the second COVID wave was. After that, yes, definitely in the next 12 to 18 months, we plan to raise investment so that we can have a bigger team. And when we speak about the marketplace, sustainability is what we're looking at, right? Zero waste period products is what we're looking at. We already have a couple of brands that do menstrual cups and cloth pads. And we're trying to get more brands on board with different price points, with each product having a differentiation. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at sustainable menstrual hygiene products. And with the subscription box, of course, with every subscription box is different. Every month, you get a different curation of goodies in the box. So we keep that going. We try to get more healthier and tasty products also in the box. So yeah, we aspire to have more and more people try the pink box, more and more people have a happy period experience.
So Sanjana, this has been an awesome podcast. Every time, it's an awesome discussion to have with you, and the conviction, the commitment that you've shown in growing the pink box. I wish you all the best. Hope to see the pink box raise millions and millions of dollars of funding in the coming years, so that it's made available to every Indian or maybe everyone around the world. So looking forward to seeing you grow pink box over the coming years. Thanks again
Thank
for
you,
joining us.
Darshan.